Hello everybody, welcome back. It's of course another episode of Cape Rugby TV where of course every week we take a look at what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby, and of course a lot of action at the moment. It's been great fun out there, and if you've been enjoying the action, well, if you've been enjoying Club Rugby, you'll of course know that there's a lot of current action. Before we get going, big thanks of course to our partners on board with us, Score Energy Drinks. You can win yourself a case of Score during the course of the show. This week we've got a fantastic spot the team picture. The guys from the clubs have been sending us the pictures again. And of course, big thanks to MChem 24 Hour Pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. And of course, Decro Paints. Decro on board with Cape Rugby TV. In fact, I was out at Kales River this weekend. Of course, Decro also a big supporter of the Kales River Rugby Club, as well as Hamilton's Rugby Club and a number of clubs out there. But before we get going and start talking about the games tonight, Jerome Parvat. Jerome is back with me. Hello, Jerome.
Yeah, JP, good to be back. And I must say, the sun was shining on Saturday, and there was some good rugby on Saturday.
Did you manage to find yourself a game?
Yeah, I went to watch Tygerberg NNK.
Tygerberg NNK. Yeah. So Tygerberg NNK, yeah, it's probably quite an important one for NNK.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. I think halftime NNK was sort of in the lead, and then Tygerberg slowly catch up, but quite a close score.
Yeah,
but NNK must say they did well.
For a lot of those teams, it's now make or break. I mean, I was at the Kales River game. They were, of course, playing against Hamlets. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But, yeah, those teams at the bottom of the log, really, it's crunch time for them. And some interesting movement then at the top of the log as well. Although, I suppose Super League A was a little bit more settled. Sadly, this week, though, and I suppose we have to mention a lot of games got cancelled. We're not going to talk about why, but we know that it's been a rough weekend and possibly even some rough days coming ahead.
Yeah, it's still rough, but hopefully this week we'll go back to normal.
Yeah, let's hope so. So we've got a couple of games for us tonight. We've got Falsebay up against Brankenfell. So of course that was always going to be an interesting one. And then folks, we've got Kales River against Hamlets. Like I say, I was out there myself on Saturday. What a fantastic day. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's take a look now at the highlights. Falsebay and Brankenfell, first half. Right, there we go, folks. Falsebay, Brankenfell, and of course, yeah, Jerome, we're not going to give the result away just yet, but Falsebay do look like they've got the upper hand. First off.
Yeah, it looks like it because I could see they've scored 2 tries and they were playing a lot more with the ball in hand, and their defence was also good. Brankenfell tried, but like I said, the defence of Falsebay was too good in this first half. So, but it looks like Falsebay got the upper hand.
So, do you think that Falsebay? I mean, we are now. Well, I think if we think about it, Falsebay now have already, they're sitting at number 5 at the log. We're going to take a look at the logs just now, but they've already played now 12 games. They've got 2 games left, basically, to make sure that they secure their position in the top 6. Brankenfell, on the other hand, it looks like it's it's a bridge to climb, put it that way. But they've still got 3 games in hand. So is it a question of for Brankenfell, like it's too late, or do you think Brankenfell still have got time? And the same for Falsebay. Do they just have to secure their position in the top 5? Bearing in mind, Marties is still coming, and a few games below them still have got games in hand.
Yeah, look, the games Brankenfell have in hand, it's tough games. I mean, they basically got Kaiserslautern and them. That's basically like a derby game. Yeah. So that's going to be a tough one. And then obviously UWC Brankenfell, UWC is struggling a bit, so they'll probably target that game. And then Villages is almost like their last game, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. And I think Falsebay, on the other hand, are playing to stay up there, which they might. And I think there's a bit of a carrot for Falsebay also, because I think they're also part of the Gold Cup. So I think, yeah.
So back to the game. Take us back to the game quickly. Like I said, Falsebay is busy. They look like they're leading. Yeah, they've of course got home ground. They look like they're starting to get comfortable, or are finally getting comfortable. Maybe halftime talk between. What are both teams saying at the moment?
No, look, I would say Falsebay would definitely say the coaches would be happy. We scored 2 tries. Defense is good. We got to keep the ball through phases, so just continue with that same sort of second half. Just keep the ball, hold the ball, keep the ball away from Brankenfell. Don't give Brankenfell too many lineouts, because I saw in the first half Brankenfell were mauling them. So I think like kick the ball infield. Don't give them unnecessary lineouts, because they've got a big pack of forwards, strong mauling game. So I would just keep that away from them.
All right. All right, folks, in the studio with me, Jerome Paardewater. We're talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Still coming up on the show tonight. After the break, in fact, we're going to take a look at the second half between Brankenfell and Falsebay. Falsebay, of course, got home ground advantage, but we'll talk more about that in a second. So don't go away. A lot of competition still coming up and a lot of game highlights. Back in a sec.